Hello, everybody. Welcome to Slam. My name is Dustin. I'm going to be giving you my predictions for the Elimination Chamber here in 2024. So, as of the time I'm recording this, it's about the midday on Friday, so SmackDown hasn't happened yet. So, if any more matches get announced, my bad. But as for what's already been announced, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that, give you my thoughts and opinions, and make my predictions. So we're going to start with the women's tag title match. It was announced here recently. There hadn't really been a whole lot of build-up. So I'm actually going to go for the challengers in this one. I know it's Indy Hartwell and somebody, I can't remember who her partner is, and I apologize for that. But Damage Control holding the titles, I don't think that's good for the storyline going into Mania. I really think it's going to be... I think their focus is more on the WWE Women's Championship going into all of that. So, I definitely think there's a very, very high chance that they're going to drop the titles at Elimination Chamber. So I expect to see that, and that's my prediction to say on that match. Not really much more to say. Not really any build-up or anything like that. So, oh well, that's my thoughts on that. Next, I will go on to the Women's Elimination Chamber match. I know the favorite going into this match is Becky Lynch for obvious reasons. Everybody wants Becky to win. And I think there's a very good chance that she might. In my personal opinion, I would kind of like to see somebody else do it. Becky Lynch has been at the top for so long now, and she earned it. She changed into the man and did this whole gimmick and has really turned it into something that people in general want to see. There's nothing wrong with that. But she has been very, very heavily pushed for years now, and I just think I'd like to see something a little different. What I would like to see coming out of this Elimination Chamber match, honestly, is... I'd like to see Tiffany Stratton win it, to be honest, because that would be, one of the future stars coming out, getting a really big spot, and getting a big stage to go out and really show what she can do and kind of show us where the future of the division is heading. That being said, though, I do think they're just going to go with the obvious booking. The WrestleMania storytelling has already started. So my official prediction is Becky Lynch, although I would like to see Tiffany Stratton win it. Let's move on to the tag team title match between Damian Priest and Finn Balor facing Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Obviously, I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to have the Judgment Day carry the titles into WrestleMania. I think that makes the most sense storytelling-wise. Although I do hate that there's only one set of tag titles now. I really wish they would split the belts, go back to two sets of titles. I think that would make the most sense because you have two world championships, one on each brand, two mid-card titles, one on each brand, two women's championships, one on each brand. It only makes sense to have two sets of tag titles, one on each brand. At least that's my opinion. You even still have blue straps and red straps and a total of 4 belts for one set of championships. I think if they had planned long-term to keep these belts unified, they would have turned it into just one set by now with probably a black strap or something. So I think the fact that there are still two sets of championships, eventually they're going to split them back up, but I don't think it'll be until after Mania. So I definitely think that Damian Priest and Finn Balor probably hold on to the titles here, take them into Mania, where chances are they'll lose them to R-Truth and The Miz. So, unfortunately, I don't think Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are getting it done. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about the women's World Heavyweight Championship match. And it's Rhea Ripley. She's not losing. It's not happening. Okay, they're in Australia. The whole show has been Like, she's been all over the marketing and everything else. She's been the biggest attraction in women's wrestling for the last year. So I don't see any way they take that title off of her before WrestleMania. And I wouldn't even be surprised if she dropped it at Mania. I could see her carrying this strap for a very long time. I think her name and the reign that she's been on is actually making that title a little bit more prestigious, especially like because whoever eventually takes it off of her, that's going to be a big deal. So, does Becky Lynch really need that? And that's who I think is going to end up facing her at Mania. Does Becky Lynch need that? No, she doesn't. Becky Lynch has done enough. Becky Lynch is a full, she's a Hall of Famer when she finally retires. She does not need to take this belt off Rhea. So if they end up facing at WrestleMania, Rhea's definitely going over. Right now they've made Rhea so dominant, I don't think there's any way she loses the championship outside of like a Money in the Bank cash-in. So then finally we've got the men's chamber match. And obviously the favorite going into this one, everybody thinks Drew McIntyre is picking it up. I could see that happening, but I'm going to go out on a wild limb here because this is what I would like to see happen, and I think if WWE were trying to build a big show and make people happy at the same time, this is what they would do as well. So the big rumor right now, what everybody thinks is going to happen, is that LA Knight is going to end up facing Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the US Championship. I don't like that idea because I love LA Knight and what he's doing, and I just think that he can do more. And then you've also got Braun Breaker, who just got called up, and they had him take Lesnar's spot in the Rumble for a reason. They see Braun as this big threat, this competitor that is on that level. And you don't want him to just come in and then do nothing, and he just signed with SmackDown. So what I think you do is you actually have LA Knight win the chamber. It's a long shot, I know, but I think this would be in their best interest. Have LA Knight win the Elimination Chamber and go on to face Seth Rollins and even beat him. Have LA Knight go over at WrestleMania and hold his first singles title in the company, and it be a world championship. And instead, you push Braun Breaker to take the US title off Logan Paul. Present Braun Breaker as a monster without pushing him straight to the top. Give him a little time to breathe. Have him go on a monstrous US title run, and then maybe a year or two from now, give him a world title reign. So then you get LA Knight going over, which I think is something everybody wants. And you get to have Braun Breaker come in, beat a big name in Logan Paul, make an impact right away on the main roster. And I think that's the best way to book it. And we've seen Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins a million times. Maybe you could even have some sort of like, my official prediction is LA Knight, but maybe you have some sort of like screwy finish or something, and it's a triple threat at Mania between Drew, LA Knight, and Seth Rollins for the World Championship. LA Knight still going over. I would actually like to see Drew go full-blown heel, win the Money in the Bank briefcase at this year's upcoming Money in the Bank, and then use that to get his, moment in front of the crowd like he wants. So, I'm going with LA Knight. Oh, and then there's the Grayson Waller effect. I forgot about that there for a second. So you have Seth and Cody going to be on the Grayson Waller effect. I know Seth said he didn't want his first match back to be Mania. I don't know if he's been medically cleared to compete or not. I haven't seen anything saying he is or isn't still at this point. So I'm going to predict that something happens in this Grayson Waller effect that creates a tag tag team or not a tag team championship, a tag match. Seth and Cody versus probably Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I could see the Grayson Waller effect turning into a match. And I honestly think that's what they should do, because you can give Seth Rollins a match back before Mania where he can be a bit more protected because it's a tag match and he can kind of rotate things with Cody and whatnot. So that's what I see happening there with Seth and Cody getting the win, pinning Austin Theory, and then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller kind of get into it after the match, and they separate and go their separate ways and probably have a feud with each other. I think that's what they should do. I hope that's what they do. That is my predictions for the show. With that being said, everybody else, let me know what your predictions are. I'm really curious to see what people think. Let me know what you think of my predictions, because honestly, you could think they're absolutely terrible, but I think I predicted a solid show. It's not how I would book it completely. And, I plan on doing some videos where I fantasy book and whatnot, but those are my official predictions for the Royal... Sorry, I misspeak sometimes. I have a bit of a stutter. Those are my official predictions for the Elimination Chamber. That being said, I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see you next time.